we can't skip around them anymore. Let's talk about the Klopp quotes. So it was Charlie Eccleshare in The Athletic who was sat just alongside me in the press conference, and he asked, was he impressed by Tottenham's defending? So Jurgen Klopp's answer, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, I'm the wrong person for that. I don't like this kind of football, but that's my personal problem. I think they're world class, and I think they should do more for the game. I think the game against Liverpool, they had 36 or 38% possession, but it's my problem. I cannot coach it, so that's why I cannot do it. So yes, world-class players block all the balls. Really difficult. Atletico Madrid is doing it. Fine. They won. Whatever. Fine. Absolutely fine. I just can't. I respect everything they do, but it's not me. You know what? I found it so cliched. It was like, I don't know, it was classic top manager can't win a match, so attempts to belittle the other team and their manager's tactics. And I really like Jurgen Klopp. I really do. I really love the way his teams play. I love that kind of football. And I've heard him say good things about opponents in the past. But when he does this, and he does do it sometimes, it's so patronising. And I didn't see the point in doing it. I don't know whether he was trying to, like I say, form the narrative around the match. And I just thought, I didn't like it at all. What does he want? He's kind of declaring, make it easier for my team to win. Play like we do, when clearly you don't have the same kind of players that can do that. Make it easier for us. Roll over. Let us score. It's almost like, isn't football also about tactical battles? And the fact that Liverpool have twice been unable to break down Conte's team. Yet, especially in the home game, Spurs create chance after chance. It's not like this is not a team just sitting there parking a bus and hoping to maybe get an attack at some point. They weren't. In the home game against Liverpool, they created so many opportunities. They really should have won that game, probably quite comfortably as well by half-time. And this game, like I say, they created loads of good chances. I don't buy this narrative of, we're the football purists. Everyone else is rubbish. And it wasn't at all. If anything, Klopp says it is his problem. I agree, because he hasn't been able to work out a way to beat it. And, I think they were even more especially blunt on last night. They were struggling for ideas. They were struggling to test Lloris. Lloris had one of his easiest evenings in the Premier League this season. And it was against, one of the top teams probably in the world right now. And I do feel that's Klopp maybe masking an inability to break these tactics down. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it at all. I didn't get it. I didn't see the point of it. He'd love every team to play gung-ho football against them, because it would be football suicide against a team like Liverpool. So, yeah, I don't understand why... Well, I guess I do understand why he's calling for that. But, to call out a manager's very clear game plan, maybe he's worried that other teams will do that and start to nullify what Liverpool... I don't know. I just didn't like it. Can you tell I didn't like it? Because I think I might have said that a million times. Because, the other thing I found weird was that, if anything, Klopp should be, he should be pretty thankful for Tottenham playing in that way, because they've used a similar-ish tactic, although slightly different, when they've played Man City. And they've beaten Man City twice, thus handing, a 6-point advantage to Liverpool in the Premier League title race that they're in. It's Liverpool and Klopp's fault that they haven't been able to take advantage of that. I'm sure they weren't moaning when they were watching Spurs beating Man City 3-2 at the Etihad Stadium. When was it? February? I don't like that. And, I saw Gary Neville. And I'm very not like this. Anyone that knows me on Twitter or follows me on Twitter will know I very rarely, if ever, reply to, the famous types on Twitter. I'll have a chat and I'll reply to us normal people, the Spurs fans, whatever. But I don't normally kind of react or reply to anything I see put out there by famous people. It's not really my thing. But you might have seen, I saw earlier today that Gary Neville he quote tweeted Jurgen Klopp's quote or video, Jurgen Klopp in that press conference replying to Charlie. And he said, I respect Conte, but, it kind of these words show exactly why he wouldn't have been the right fit for United. I just didn't feel that was quite right. And I like Gary Neville. I think Gary Neville's, some of his analysis is superb. I really like Monday Night Football, especially what he does on that with Jamie Carragher. And he is a really, really good pundit. But I just saw that, I was like, doesn't ring true with me. I don't really like that. I don't like that. I don't know why I'm really saying I don't like stuff at the moment. But it was kind of, he was overlooking the fact that this was a very specific game plan by Conte. Spurs don't play like that in every match. I had Liverpool fans on Twitter trying to tell me they do. No, they don't. No, they do not at all. There's a very specific game plan built for that match, which almost brought Spurs the 3 points. It really should have. Had Højbjerg done his kind of just headed the ball forwards, I think it probably would have done. But to suggest that this is Conte's way of playing football week in, week out, it's not right. Here's some stats for you. In Conte's 25 Premier League matches with Spurs, they've scored 51 goals. That's the third highest tally in the Premier League. It's only 7 fewer than Liverpool and 13 more than United. So surely being tactically adaptable is a good fit for any club. And I'm not pushing Conte towards Man United, but I just think that was bizarre. That, the utter mess that United are in right now, you cannot tell me that Conte would have allowed any of that to happen, and they would not be in a far better position than they are right now. And I have to say, Gary Neville's called for Diego Simeone in the past to be United manager. Simeone is even more of a pragmatic manager than probably any manager out there you care to mention. I'm sorry, I don't know whether I feel like I had to have Conte's back or something like that. It wasn't like that. I just didn't quite agree with that. Just the analysis of the situation just seemed off, and I didn't like that. And also, the other thing I want to point out is, and as some Spurs fans have quite rightly pointed out as well, Klopp's kind of big thing about the 36% possession or whatever it was with Spurs having. Wasn't that fussed about that when Liverpool had that in the Champions League final against Spurs? The stats are right here. In the Champions League final that night in Madrid, Liverpool had 35% of the possession, and they managed only just over half of Spurs' 510 passes on the night. And it was Spurs' struggles in front of goal. That's why Spurs didn't win that. They had plenty of opportunities. They just had no finishing ability on the day. So, yeah, I mean, when Liverpool was celebrating that on the pitch in Madrid after the game, was Klopp going around telling them off? Was he saying, that wasn't my idea of football, lads. I'm very disappointed with the way we've won that. No, because Liverpool did the job that was required on the day. They went there, they played the type of football that got them the result. So I just kind of feel like, we'd all love to play the sexiest football imaginable. Of course we would. But I just feel like calling out an opposition manager and team who have played well, admit they played well, and calling them out instead as something, I wouldn't do that. Best of luck with that. And again, I can only stress, I really like Jurgen Klopp, and it just kind of came across as sour grapes, I guess. Yeah, not a fan. And also, I was going to talk about it, wasn't I? Fabinho. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Had he not been on a fouling frenzy, which for some weird reason Michael Oliver decided was not important to the nature of his book to put cards in, to put his bookings in, I think Spurs would have had, they would have added to their score. There were 2-3 occasions when Spurs players were getting away and Fabinho just decided to either slice them down with a late challenge, or there were a few. There was definitely one on Kane, I remember. Obviously, we've all seen the unpleasant-looking elbow in Sonny. And, how in the world he got to the 79th minute until he was booked, the Brazilian, I have no idea. It could have been his third or fourth by that point. And, we're talking about rudimentary ways of playing the game. That was very, very crude. It was. Some of the things he was doing was like, you know, I know Klopp, I think Klopp moaned about time wasting from Spurs and things, which is, you know, it's funny, it's professional, it's game playing when the big sides do it to see out matches, but when someone they don't want to be doing it to them, it's horrendous time wasting and disgrace. But, you know, what Fabinho was doing was gamesmanship as well, and he, you know, I guess you could give him fair play because he got away from it. Although, like I said, I don't know how, I keep seeing the image of him elbowing Sonny, and I think he was very lucky with that as well. It wasn't pleasant at all.